Hello, you are very welcome to the podcast of Curious Souls.
And you're welcome to leave anytime you want.
I love this.
My love.
This is me.
Absolutely. How is your Michigan vacation going?
It's so many things.
Mm-hmm.
Today is much, much better than yesterday. Yes. So I'm feeling great today. Especially now, I feel great.
Yes,
Yes. Feelings are volatile, right?
they certainly can be.
Yes.
So today we wanted to talk about something that's...
Wait.
Oh, yes, go
And
ahead.
how are you?
I am also riding a similar wave. We had a great day today.
True.
It felt like we're back in flow, found our rhythm.
We have Dila back with us.
Oh my goodness. Yes, Dilla Dog, the spirit animal, is back with the witch and the wizard,
Yes,
and it feels so good to have him back.
I echo this.
So today we wanted to talk about something that keeps coming up for us, and we've been meaning to do a podcast on rites of passage.
Which was a rite of passage by its own.
True. So today we'll share some personal stories. What is a rite of passage? What's the importance of a rite of passage, and what invitation we have for everyone.
And so much more.
And so much more.
Yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
That I love you.
I love you endlessly.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
So maybe we start this episode with a story.
Okay.
How do you feel about it?
Sure.
A few months ago, in the year end, you had an experience.
I did.
And I would love you to share this experience if you are willing, although it was super intimate and transformational, I think. And then from this, we can uncover few ideas.
Okay. This was a really big experience for me, and a really difficult one. It's New Year's Eve, and we are heading to our local spot called El Sitio, which is in the center of the town we live nearby called Playa Venao.
It's on the ocean.
It's on the ocean. The party is outside. They have a booming sound system. Our local favorite DJ was playing.
All our family and friends were there.
And other community members, plus a bunch of strangers. We brought with us some recreational substances. I journeyed for the first time. I took a full dose of MDMA.
True.
Along with this, one of the pivotal points of the night was after 2 pulls of ketamine, which is another substance that I have actually fairly little experience with. And I have almost no experience with any of these in public places, like recreational spaces. So it's very different from being in ceremony for me.
It is different. So what happened?
Shortly after the ketamine pulls, I experienced a super powerful, I would say dark, demonic-like energy running through me.
Maybe you are willing to elaborate a bit. What do you mean by demonic energy?
It had nothing to do with evil.
Ah,
It felt like a primal force of nature, like something timeless and ancient, like before humans, like just this like really dark, powerful energy that was expressing itself through me in a way that I would call demonic. Like my eyes were rolled in the back of my head, my hands were curled, and like the movement going through my body felt like a beast. Like the way people describe demons or devils is how it felt like running through me,
and a lot of it.
and a lot of it. And I was writing this and I was getting off on it. I was having a great time and I was really letting myself have it. And at some point, I became self conscious. And I remembered I'm in a public setting and I just imagined all the people looking at me and thinking I'm crazy. So I kind of like pulled this energy back in and then eventually opened my eyes and reconnected with the world around me.
So, if I hear you correctly, you were trying to hold on to a very specific identity that you identify yourself with.
Yeah, I was trying to hold on to a specific identity and a specific relationship to the outside world.
It's so interesting. So, you were going through some experience. If I hear you correctly, when you opened your eyes, a judgment started in you about the experience that you were authentically having, and you were trying to hold to an identity that you are familiar with.
Yes,
Which identity?
I think it's easier because with every identity, there is everything that's outside of the identity.
Yeah.
So I think it's even easier to say that I was not identifying with this demonic, wild expression that was running through me.
Mhm.
And this evolved throughout the night because you actually were out dancing while this was happening. And then you came and invited me to dance.
Yes.
We were dancing, which for me put me even more in the middle of the people and the scene that was there. And my experience was that my consciousness, all of me, wanted to be somewhere else doing something else that I was not allowing.
So interesting. And why didn't you allow this energy to come up?
I was embarrassed.
Sweet.
Yeah, I felt like I was doing my best to stay present with you. We had just gotten married actually a few days before,
That's so true.
which added to my identity, right? So now I'm judging myself for not being present with you. And I was projecting other people's judgment that they are saying, oh, wow, Lilit just married this young man and he can't hold her. He's completely incapable of holding this goddess. And I was doing everything I could to anchor myself in the moment, to be present, to pull myself together, because actually I was in many ways being pulled apart.
Beautiful. So what happened then?
At some point, I couldn't hold myself even upright anymore. And fortunately, El Sitio does a gorgeous job
Oh my God.
of literally having not just lounges, but physical beds around the dance floor. And I found a loungy mattress place to lay down. I was journeying, which is fortunately a space I am very familiar with. And it occurred to me that I had two voices that were really present for me. One, I would call my inner father's voice. And this voice was very critical and judgmental. Get it together, pull yourself together, snap out of it. That was the voice. People are going to judge you. You look like a fool. Pull yourself together. And simultaneously, I had what I would call my inner mother's voice, which was had this knowing, which I fortunately live with at this point, of everything is happening for you. And this right now is happening for you too. And you can relax into it and you're in good hands. You were with me during that time, during that moment, and just in the hands of spirit.
Beautiful. So you are lying there and you have from one side these voices that are judging you, and then you have other voices in you that are supporting you in your process and allowing you the process. And what happened to the demonic energy? Were you still in it?
No, the demonic energy at this point was not present.
Interesting. So for me, something completely different happened, because at that point I was also super high and I wanted to continue dancing. So when you went to lie down, I went to dance with my two gorgeous kids that were also dancing on the dance floor. That's an unbelievable experience and worth a podcast by itself. How do you create relationship with your kids so you can dance with them together on a dance floor in a New Year's Eve? But what happened for me at this point is that I also took some ketamine, and I have this thing I always forget that it takes another 10 to 15 minutes until it hits you. For me, somehow it happens immediately. Always I have this expectation, and it didn't happen immediately. And then 10 minutes later, or whatever, 10,000 years later, suddenly it hit me, and I literally couldn't stand on my feet. So I sat down, and my both kids were just sitting down near me. I felt so at home and so protected and so familiar with the space. I didn't even think about other people and what do they think. Like I completely didn't have this experience or thought. And I was having a blast in my K-hole, running up and down into all directions, having the fun of my life, and just enjoying my two kids being there with me and watching me and witnessing me going through my beautiful process. So I didn't have any fear, I didn't have any judgment, and this changed completely my experience.
It never ceases to amaze me how wild the perception of what's happening is on our experience. Like you and I were taking the same substances at the same party at the same time, and we were having completely different experiences. It just never ceases to amaze me.
It is amazing. But let's continue, because I think what happened next had a lot of meaning for you and for us.
Yeah, it was a difficult few days.
So we
You,
came home,
yeah,
right?
once you sobered up enough, you drove us home. I was in no state to be driving or really doing much of anything.
Just to understand that this never happened before. I never experienced you in a state where you ask me to drive.
Sweet.
This never happens.
True. I never thought of this.
Yeah,
So you beautifully got us home, safely got us home.
I did.
I didn't sleep almost at all that night. I was processing and trying to facilitate myself the whole time. And for the next 2+ days, maybe 3 days, I felt lost.
Yes,
That was my primary experience. I felt like I couldn't find myself. And I kept trying to pull myself back using all sorts of different body, mind, heart techniques or whatever you want to call it. Like I was trying to pull myself back and I was able to maybe for moments. And then I'd go back into like this liminal space where I feel lost. I felt a lot of grief during those days. And maybe it's worth mentioning that it's not a feeling that I identify with or often experience. On the third day, you made a beautiful suggestion. Do you remember this?
of course.
Do you remember what you suggested?
Of course. So, first, when you were trying to pull yourself in, it was very clear to me that there is no self to pull back in. It was very clear that you are trying to pull yourself back. You were very closed to help. I couldn't reach you.
In retrospect, I'm in awe. My experience was that you were fully available to help me at all times. You were there. This idea of holding space, that's for me what you were doing. You were fully present with me the whole time, and you were not trying to facilitate me. You were not trying to guide me. You were not trying to make any suggestions or anything.
That's very true. And this is because I was very aware to what is happening.
Amazing.
I knew that you are going through an ego death. I knew from little that you shared, because at that point you couldn't share a lot because there was no one to share. But I knew that that was your experience. And I knew that there is no one home.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy that you knew this.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that you didn't intervene any sooner. It gave me such a deep immersion into this liminal state I was in.
Yeah. It's a very important, and we will talk about it. It's a super important stage in the process. But it was very clear to me what's happening and in which stage you are. And then after 3 days, I felt that there is a slight opening that I can give you an idea and give a suggestion that will help you to reclaim your agency. So I didn't want to tell you what's happening, but I wanted to ignite your agency.
Wow. I am in awe of you, my love.
Yummy.
So we were in the kitchen. You very elegantly make a suggestion.
How about you reflect what's happening with ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Something like this.
So I went ahead and told ChatGPT everything, what I took, what I felt, what my journey had been like until then. And I was in awe of what it reflected back to me and how accurate it was. I even asked it to reflect this back to me from multiple perspectives. One was a biological, scientific perspective. One was like a shamanic, spiritual perspective. And I think the third was like a therapist or like a psychiatrist or
Yeah,
psychologist.
psychologist, something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Every one of those perspectives described what I was experiencing and why perfectly. What became the most profound piece of information that it gave me was that I am in an ego death and I am no longer who I used to be and I'm not yet who I'm becoming. In this orientation, I still didn't feel like myself, but it gave me idea of what's happening to me. And I could just, for the first time, relax into the process. And the story of it's happening for me now had context to it.
Like you could understand, or I want even to say your mind could understand what is happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It gave it a structure.
Yes.
Like it gave the feminine story of it's happening for me made sense.
Yes. Because for the brain, this whole experience that you had no structure. So it went into almost paralysis because it has no structure. And then after having this reflection from Chetik, your mind could relax because it has a structure.
Beautiful.
Mhm. And then you could ask for help, which is also a very unique situation.
Yes. You then facilitated me, and we won't go into the whole thing, but it was a really beautiful facilitation back to meet my inner children and my inner mother and father. I think that's where the transformation happened. That's where like the new identity or the new structure came into place because the voice of the father that came in at this point was a different, it was like the father had transformed. Actually, the transformation in me was my inner father.
Yes.
And he was super present, warm, and loving, and not judgmental at all. He was not critical, and he was just there, and he didn't need to do anything. I think my inner father and my inner masculine is so sometimes caught up in doing. There's always something to do. There's always more that needs to be done, and it can always be done better. That it was a completely new quality of presence to just be there and be loving. And that's it.
I'm super curious. So if you have to pinpoint it, because we are talking here about identity and identity that you had, which thinks about how other people see you, which I think many of us have this in our identity. And this is coming from the education and from school and for sure from our parents and all of this. So you had this identity of how do I look and what people think about me. And what if you have to like to nail it? What is the new identity that was born after this process or through this process?
I think part of the transformation was that the identity itself is less rigid.
Yes.
So defining it is not capturing the essence of the transformation itself. I'm more accepting of myself and therefore of others as well. What this meant in this transformation is that I don't need to be something so specific, that I am so many things and it's okay. All of them are okay. The new structure was softer and more malleable. It was more flexible and more expansive and more difficult to define.
When I'm listening to you, it seems to me that the transformation went from an identity that holds an internal voice of judgment to an internal voice of supporting.
Exacto. I'll even give you an example.
Please, I love this.
In the following days, I remember I went surfing and the voice of my inner child was super present, as it often is, that it's worried about not surfing good enough around everyone. And, it's like this inner child that has been judged its whole life and is afraid that it's not.
Performing.
Exactly. And for the first time, I heard a new voice from what I would call my father, which felt much more like a coach. Like I felt my young child in baseball, basketball, like, in like some sport. And my inner father was like, you're learning. Whatever you're judging as mistake is just you're learning to surf better. And the tone and the quality of the voice, the presence of this inner father was just completely different. It wasn't the voice of get it together. It felt like a voice in support of who I was and not something I needed to be.
Absolutely beautiful. So, if I hear you correctly, or at least in my perception, what actually happened is that you went through an unplanned rite of passage.
So it turns out.
Yeah,
I didn't know much about rites of passage before. Like I know the term and I know the energy of it, and I know I've experienced it before. But after studying it in preparation for this podcast, I realized this has all the elements and structure of a rite of passage. It just wasn't planned. And I think that's actually happening a lot. Today, our culture, at least I don't experience our culture having intentional rites of passage for different parts of our life.
I agree.
And so we meet the limits of ourselves in the transitions of life when life is asking us to evolve. For the most part, we're left to do it on our own, and we don't even know it's happening. Like we think something is going wrong. Today, what's happening for all of us is we're meeting our limits when life is demanding more from us. Most of the time, we don't have the support, the preparation, the guidance, and the integration to go through this process fully. I don't know what I would have done without you and without the years of experience journeying with sacraments that are altering my state of consciousness and meeting my edges over and over again and going through initiations. And even with all of this, this one was so big for me that it was critical to have your support. I can't imagine what it's like for the billions of people alive today to have an initiatory experience where life is meeting your edge and asking more of you and not having support.
Yeah, I think there is a very delicate difference between trauma and initiation. You know, we are living in a place where there are a lot of parties, a lot of young people that are coming, taking drugs, and experience an ego death whilst they are in a party that is not designed to support an ego death. Many of those kids that are coming are suffering from PTSD because many of them are coming from all kinds of countries that experience war, and they already come with this PTSD, and then these parties and the drugs are activating it, and there is no one to support them. So those kids that are coming, I wish to share with them few things that can help them if an experience like this is happening. If you are listening to this podcast, maybe that's a good information for you as well. And if you have a kid, maybe you can share it with them also. The first thing that is really important in supporting someone that is going through an experience of an ego death, or however you want to call it, like you are lost, first is to describe to them what's happening to them. What is the process and what's happening? It's what ChatGPT told you. To engage the mind into the process. Because the moment the mind is engaged and has a structure of understanding the emotions and the sensations that are running through your body, you are engaging another motor into your experience, which is the mind. So that's the first thing. You want to say something?
And what happened for me is the moment my mind had this orientation, I could even allow myself to feel.
Yes.
Because my mind was like, hold everything. Nothing can happen right now. I am stopping everything. Everything is on, all systems are on lock.
Yes.
I need to figure out what's going on.
Exactly.
And it was in this process for 3 days until it figured out what's going on. Then it could relax back into a state that could be an experience and allow for something new to emerge.
Exactly. So apropos to all those people that I say that are saying I wish my mind will shut up, sometimes the mind is shutting up, and this is so scary. And one of the things you want to do as quickly as possible is to engage the mind back and to give it structure.
Maybe the question is, what does the mind need to understand right now in order to be quiet?
Exactly.
Beautiful, my love. I love
Yes.
this.
So that's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing is engage the mind, give it structure, explain to it what is happening, in which stage you are, what is the next stage, and what you can expect. That's absolutely the first stage to bring someone back. The second stage is to allow the process to complete itself. Allow the thing that is dying to die, and to the new thing that is emerging to emerge fully. So if an identity of the critic judge is dying and you understand it now, allow it, allow all the grief, because you are grieving a part of you that was there for so many years. Now it's dying. Allow the emotion, the sensation to be there, allow the grief to be. Engage into the grief as much as you can. Journal it, sing it, dance it, cry it, whatever you need in order to allow this process to complete itself. And the third thing is hold to the story that everything is happening for you, not to you.
Beautiful, my love. Without these three things, I would have had a traumatic experience.
Yes.
Traumatic experiences and an initiatory experiences are really similar. In trauma and initiation, there is a significant event through which nothing will ever be the same on the other side. So whether it's trauma or initiation, we have a big experience where something is lost and things will never be the same again. The difference is what you pointed out, which is the process in initiation is completed. Something is allowed to die. Something is allowed to be let go of so that something new can emerge. And what's happening in trauma is we're hanging on for dear life to the thing that's ready to move on. It's often identity. It can be a perception. It's usually some structure of how we think things should be.
And who we think we are.
That's the identity piece.
Yeah.
Yeah. For as long as we do not let go of this, we don't allow this structure to die, then the experience of dismantling, the structure dissolving, melting away, or breaking becomes traumatic because we hold on to the old structure and now it's broken. So we have this fractured part of ourselves that we're hanging on to instead of allowing it to fully dissolve and break so that something new can emerge. That's the difference between trauma and initiation. Part of the traumatic experience, the perception of what's happening, is that it's happening to me. It's awful. It's terrible. I wish it would stop.
And I cannot make it stop.
Right. In initiation, you have to have the story that this is happening for me.
Yeah. Yeah. We are working a lot with people that experience all kinds of traumas. And if you are carrying a trauma, dear listener, we have a little tip for you here. Like a tiny one. It will not fix everything for you, but it's a tiny, sweet tip. And before I give it, I want to say something about working with trauma. So there is this new era of MDMA and psilocybin are healing trauma. I don't think so. I think that what's healing trauma is the facilitation. When you are in an altered state because of the neuroplasticity that those two vehicles allows. So this idea that you will go and have a ketamine shot or a MDMA session or a psilocybin session and you will come out of there without a trauma, for me, it's not true. If you will have a good facilitator that will take you through the process and will help you to allow parts of you that are anxious to die, and will allow a new identity to emerge, then you will heal the trauma. And here is our little tip. Again, it's a little tip. It's not a cure for trauma, but it's a good starting point. Ask yourself two questions. First question is, what in me is eager to die? And the second one is, what in me is ready to be born?
So beautiful.
So now, if you are willing, maybe we can dive into deeper conversation about rite of passage. Okay. What is rite of passage for you or for your perception, and how do we design it? Because we said that our culture is not supporting.
Yes. And something came to be now, a new definition of trauma can be an unfinished initiation.
Unfinished business.
This is really beautiful
I agree.
because you're just not done with the process yet.
Yes.
And so, yeah, wow, I love this.
It's beautiful.
So, rite of passage, because I think that
Just let me say about this. So if we take your new definition that came just now, trauma is an unfinished initiation.
mhm,
If one of our listeners is listening and have this perception about yourself that you are traumatized, actually you are in a space that is calling for you to finish an initiation.
and to do this, we'll talk about what we've learned about rites of passage, the structure, and what is supportive to go through them, because we highly recommend doing this consciously, choosing your environment and the ecosystem around you so that you can fully go through this process and not create another trauma.
Please don't create another trauma. Okay, so take us. What is the rite of passage and how do we design it? Because the culture we are living in is not designing it for us.
Historically, a rite of passage has been a ritual or ceremony, some kind of experience that is ushering someone from an old identity, an old role that they had in the community, into a new one. The experience is designed to prepare and equip that person to inhabit this new role, this new identity,
In our language,
undergo a transformation or a shift in the form of consciousness.
exactly. Beautiful. And then, if I understand you correctly, you are pointing to a very specific structure that rite of passage holds in order to facilitate this process so it will not be a trauma but will be an initiation. Maybe you can take us through.
Consider these as three stages. The first stage is before the experience itself. In this stage, it's important to have an intention, to know what do I want to emerge? What qualities, what type of person, what role, what shape or form of consciousness do I want to emerge with? And it helps to know what needs to die. This way, you can design the rite of passage to meet this specific person with their specific intention. In this first stage, once you have your intention, you can begin preparing. You can prepare your body, you can prepare your mind, and whatever skills you need to build so that you can meet this experience.
I have a question for you before we go on.
Okay.
Are you open?
Sure.
Would you recommend for people to design a rite of passage for themselves with themselves, or would you recommend them to do it with a professional facilitator or whatever, someone?
I think maybe we'll finish going through the structure and then people will be better able to understand what's right for them.
Beautiful. Okay. So the first stage in the structure.
We're not done with the first stage yet.
Okay.
So, in the first stage of the structure, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's
Go
good.
ahead. In the first stage of the pick up where you, sorry.
So in the first stage of the structure, the first thing is define your intention. And the second thing is prepare.
Yes.
And
Then you need to separate yourself from what's familiar.
why is it important to separate yourself?
Because the people and places that are familiar to you are reflecting your old identity and your old role back to you.
Beautiful.
And you have all sorts of attachments and expectations to those things, and they have attachments and expectations of you. So it's very difficult to transform in the same environment that you're in day to day.
Okay. So the first step is the before. In the before, you do an intention, you clarified it as you spoke about, then you do a preparation, and then you extract yourself from your daily environment. Beautiful. What's the next step?
The next step is the experience itself. And it's important for this experience to be super immersive, meaning you are completely engaged in an experience that is deep in your stretch zone. It should be designed for you to meet an edge and should require something new of you to emerge.
You want to go through an experience that demands to go through shame, guilt, or fear. Because those are the three things that limits us the most. And when you go, it's like a shell. Fear, shame, and guilt are like a shell that are protecting an identity and defining an identity. So if you want to emerge into a new identity, you have to go through a shell. So you have to go through some kind of shame, guilt, or fear.
Yes, you are like a chicken waiting to hatch. It's such a
Yes,
good analogy, my
I
love.
agree. Your new identity is always outside the shell.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's always in the unknown. I think
Yes.
that's also really important.
Yes.
That transformation is happening in what we refer to as a feminine space, where there is no structure, nothing is known, and everything is possible.
Exactly.
Some people call this a liminal space, the unknown, the mystery, or the feminine. It is required, and the deeper you're immersed into this feminine state, the more possibilities exist and the more can emerge.
Exactly. So this was the second stage, right?
Yes.
So the first one is before, the second one is the experience itself, and the third one,
The third is integration.
so important. Tell us more about integration.
Coming out of an experience like this where you went through the darkness of the unknown and are experiencing life in a new way, a few things are really important on the other end of this.
Tell us.
I think it's really important to be recognized.
Yes.
One, to be recognized for what you went through, or that you went through something, and to have these qualities that have emerged reflected back to you. And there's something I didn't mention in the first stage that maybe is worth mentioning now. It's really good in the first stage, in the preparation stage, to create agreements with the people that you are going to return to after this so that they can meet you in the way that you need to be met to hold on to the new form. Because a lot of times we see this a lot in ceremony. People go through this liminal feminine state, they emerge with new insights of who they are, who they want to be. They come back to their homes where no one in their community has had that experience. And actually, everyone expects them to be the same person that they were when they left. We have that expectation. We even judge people when they change. Like, why'd you, oh, wow, you changed. We like, many of us have this expectation of people and desire for people not to change because familiarity is so comfortable. When we emerge from these experiences, if we aren't met by people who recognize the journey we went through and recognize the person we are on the other side, then we may reject what's emerged and go back to the way we were just in order to belong. We did a whole episode recently on shadows. So, for those of you interested, we talk about how these exiled parts of us become shadows or fall into the shadows.
Yes.
It's really important to have, we call it an ecology, the people, the relationships, the environment, the language, all the elements that you're being met with on the other side of this experience that can hold this new form of yours and that can reflect it back to you and celebrate it so that you can hold this new form and integrate it into your daily life.
Exactly. Like a nice analogy that is pumping into my head now is imagine you are going to the store and you are buying an amazing new tool and you are coming back home and you are super happy with this new tool. And then at home, they tell you, what the fuck is this? It makes too much noise. It makes too much dirt. Bring it back to the store. So you never have the chance to use this tool. When you are talking about this, I have this memory about a very dear person and very close person to us that had an experience like this with their child. Do you care to share this story?
I'd love to. We just heard this like 2 days ago,
Literally.
and it's the cutest story. So, this person who's really close to us has been going on family trips. It's like 3 families that are going on trips together now for a few years. They're often doing these trips in national parks. And they discovered that at the ranger station, they have some sort of pamphlet that if you complete the pamphlet, you get a badge. They realized that if they go to the ranger and tell them, listen, we plan on completing these pamphlets, but we need to get going, can you give us the badges? And they actually did this in the past. So all the kids got badges, but none of them actually completed the pamphlet. On this last trip, this person told all the kids, listen, we're not going to get you guys the badges unless you complete the pamphlet this time. And only one of them decided to do it. And it happened to be the youngest of all of them. He brought this completed pamphlet to the ranger. And this is in like the welcome center of the national park or something like this. And there were a bunch of people around there. When the ranger gave this child the badge, he received a standing ovation. Like everyone, the families they came with, and all these other families and people that just were witnessing this happening in front of them were cheering him on. And the kid was like bouncing off the walls. He was so proud of himself.
For sure, and with good reason, because there were new qualities that were witnessed and celebrated, as you so beautifully described in the third stage. You come back after you complete your, let's call it, hero journey, and you received back with a celebration and acknowledgement of those new capabilities and capacities that you just acquired.
Yes. Like I think of places like Metzadah. We were also talking, I think even in the same conversation about Metzadah.
Metzadah is in Israel, for people that don't know.
There's a tram, right, that you can take to get up to the top.
You mean the one that I'm taking?
Yes, the one you're taking.
Yes.
I think of all these incredible hikes that I've been on. I always have a friend that says, wow, I wish I could just have a helicopter drop me off at this alpine lake.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, it would be amazing, but you don't have the same experience going through the journey of getting to this alpine lake. And then being witnessed is like so powerful. So I think this is a great story. Thanks for bringing it up.
Okay, so I want just to wrap it up quickly for the sake of the order, because, I like this. A good rite of passage has 3 steps. The first one is before, the second one is during, and the third one is after.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
So, my love,
That's me.
maybe you can talk a little bit about what happened to rites of passage. Where did we lose them?
Oh, wow. Okay. When there were a lot of gods and goddesses, rite of passage was part of life. And then when the big religions took over, they claimed the rite of passage because it gives you control. If you control birth and you control the movement from childhood to puberty and from being single to being married, by menopause, like we call it today, once it was a rite of passage for women because we were moving from one state to another state.
From motherhood to elder.
From using our womb to create children to using our womb to create leadership and beauty and
community
and care and all of this. So what I think that what happened is that religion wanted to control. We know this. And one of the easiest way to control people's life is to take ownership on the most significant times in human life, which before were rite of passage. Now, with this taking over of those experiences, actually, instead of being a rite of passage where you are meeting your shell, let's say, that is defined by shame, guilt, and fear, it was diversed to celebrations. So the same periods in life, the same crucial moments in life were robbed from their essence of initiation and transformed into celebrations, and many times, at least for my taste, to an empty celebration, to a celebration that has to do with how popular I am.
It's like getting the badge without completing the pamphlet.
Thank you so much. Exactly, getting the badge without completing the pamphlet. Yes, this.
By doing this, you rob people of the experience of going through the journey to become who they want to become. So they stay weak and they stay dependent.
They don't become who they can become.
Yeah.
Yes. You can see it a lot with parents, right? So an ideal parent will say, I don't want my kids to suffer the same I did, right?
Totally.
What is it creating?
It's creating a world where the lives of children are not having any adversity. And so they're not developing, they're not growing up. And children are staying children even into older ages of having children. We continue making life easier and easier, creating shortcuts and quick fixes rather than finishing processes and evolving.
Yeah, so you have children, growing children, because there is no process to change identity. There is no rite of passage where you leave an identity of the child and become a young adult. There is no process that allows you to leave behind the identity. You know, like for example, you can start voting from the age of 18, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there is no rite of passage that takes you from you cannot to you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that develops the skills needed to vote with agency.
Yeah, to vote with agency and with choice of what do you want to promote and what kind of a leader you want to give your voice to. So it's just a matter of age. You know, it reminds me there is a great book which I think I recommended to you and I really recommend it to people. It is called Adversity and Advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And it is written by, oh wow, I don't remember. We can check it out. Paul something, I don't remember. Adversity Advantage.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great book. So it's a doctor, a PhD, that did the research on how people develop resilience. And one of the things he found is that when you spoil people, when you don't support their rite of passage, when they don't learn to go through shame, guilt, fear, through this, break through this shell, they don't develop resilience.
It's like cracking a shell for a baby chick, and then they don't have any strength to move on in life. Most of them will die if you do this for them.
Exactly. And I don't know about you, but I hear a lot people saying, this is so overwhelming for me. This is so overwhelming for me. Many times it means that they didn't build the capacity to go through their own difficulties because they were spoiled by parents that really believed with the best in their heart that what they need to do is to save the children from difficulties.
Yeah, and I want to go on record that I think I and all of us are those children in some places.
Not me.
I for sure am. I have the experience of overwhelm on a regular basis. And I have no question that many problems were solved for me, or
Yeah.
many challenges were taken care of for me.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I also want to recognize and thank my parents because
Oh my
my
God.
parents are actually, my dad in particular, is all about adversity.
Physical.
Yeah, physical, but also mental.
Physical and mental.
Yeah,
But not
physical and mental.
not emotional, not spiritual.
Correct.
Which is so interesting.
True. It's not an all-encompassing thing. We can be challenged in some areas and not in others. And so we become developed in some areas. We're able to meet life and meet adversity in some areas and not in others.
Which is very interesting because you have a very strong ability to go through physical adversities.
I do.
Seriously. I, for example, have a very little ability to go through physical adversities like this becomes overwhelming for me very quickly.
Maybe we can share a little story because we have such a sweet story. So, Lilit has changed her name a few times
True.
in her lifetime.
It's true.
And
With
your
every rite of passage, actually.
beautiful tie in. And your given name is Rima.
True.
This is the name your parents gave you.
Yes.
And I believe your parents called her this, but we refer to her as Rimachka.
Yes, because she's so cute.
She is the cutest. I absolutely love her.
Yes.
I love my relationship with her. I love that I have a relationship with her.
She loves you.
She does. I'm like a big brother to her, and she's like a baby sister. Not baby, but a little sister to me.
True.
She's so sweet and so fun. And I can feel how afraid she is of physical experiences based on whatever she experienced when she was young. She was judged, she experienced violence, and so physical experience became super scary for her.
Yes. Because it can hurt the body.
Right.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Literally
Yes.
hurt the body.
Yes.
So cute. I
Yeah.
love her.
Yeah.
And we have gotten to do all sorts of things, and each one has been a sort of an initiation.
Yes.
All kinds of hikes and things that we've done together.
True.
Recently, I would say she initiated herself, or maybe you, Lilit, the adult, initiated her
Yes.
at the end of our Kabbalah retreat.
Yes.
Do you want to share this story?
No.
You want me to?
Yes.
Okay. So there was a structure on the property where this retreat was held, and it was a Burning Man metal structure that had stairs coming up to it that were super narrow.
Very
And
scary.
yes,
For me, it was very, very scary. It was high. It was, oh my God, it was all open. You didn't have anywhere where you can hold safely, at least for my perception. It was super scary.
visibly it looked super dangerous. Like it
Yes.
was designed this way. That's the intention of this structure. On the second to last day of our retreat, we were actually asked to design an initiation for us for the next threshold that we see before us. You decided that you are going to climb this structure,
Yes,
that we're actually going to do it together, but you're going to do it.
I am going to do it. No. So first I said no.
True.
First I said, I am not doing this.
True.
And then I don't even remember what happened and how it changed inside me. And I was like, I was so charged with all the energy from this incredible retreat.
Can I reflect to you what I think happened?
I want just to say thank you again to Don and Ohad for this amazing Kabbalah retreat. Wow. Yes, you can reflect to me, please.
Your adult took the wheel and you made her feel safe. You gave her the safety she needed.
Yes, by asking you to go first and to look and to talk to me throughout the whole thing.
Yes. And it was my pleasure to be that steward of this initiation.
Jesus, it was so scary. I remember I'm going up and my legs are איך אתה אומר?
Shaking.
And my legs are fucking shaking with each step. And I'm facilitating myself and I'm talking to Rimochka like, I'm here, you're not going to fall, you take all the time you need, you take one step ahead, slowly, you don't need to look downstairs, you don't need even to look up, you just look on the next step and my legs and my heart. I was it was so sweet.
Let me also say, my baby is the coolest. Looking at her from the outside, I had no idea that you were. It looked to me like you just pulled yourself together. You went and climbed right up this structure and you came down and were witnessed by everyone there,
Yes.
which I think was, well, how was it for you?
The only witness I cared about was you, I must admit. And the coming down was already easy. I was after the initiation, I was full pumped with adrenaline. So the coming down was, I was already like on a little carpet. But coming up, wow, this was really beyond my comfort zone. Very much into my stretch zone.
Beautiful. I want to bring us back. We were
Please.
talking about how we lost rites of passage and how most of these transitions in our lives became celebrations,
Yes.
right? It becomes almost a competition of popularity, these experiences. It's like how many people come to my event, how awesome was it perceived?
Which dress I wear for the prom, which guy asked me out.
It's really almost around conformity. What's popular is what's appealing to the most people. It's the opposite of these old rites of passage where everything was focused on the individual developing themselves and becoming more independent. And in today's modern life, we become increasingly more dependent. Even through these transitions, we get married and now we are dependent on our partner to fill our needs. We have a child and we actually depend on our child to fulfill all the life we did not live and to give us the love that we're not receiving from someone else.
I also think, that because there are not built in rite of passage in our culture, many people suffer from anxiety, like serious disease that is medicated so heavily. I think is a result from not having a rite of passage in the younger ages.
It's literally dis-ease.
Yes.
You're not at ease with meeting life and what might be ahead of you. And it's no wonder when we are outsourcing our ability to create health and coherence in our bodies to pills, when we are outsourcing our agency to machines, when we are outsourcing the understanding and authority, we're outsourcing authority, period, is actually what we're doing.
Period.
We're outsourcing our responsibility to institutions, whether it's the government, whether it's the education system, whatever it is, we're outsourcing everything.
So we can receive a badge.
Yeah. So we can receive the result that we want without the experience to create it ourselves.
Yes.
And so we stay dependent on others to create what we want.
Yes.
And in this way, we remain victims.
Yes.
And that is the child who did not grow into the adult. It's like our modern society is in a perpetual state of puberty. We don't have the experiences and the infrastructure to usher us into adulthood, which for us means owning that we are the creator of our life.
As a society,
Eso.
that's part of the reason why all our culture is stuck in the drama triangle.
Yes, the ideal, as you said, of the parent is to make life easier for the kid. The ideal of our society is the savior. It's the hero. It's the one that saves the one that is helpless.
Yes,
So we perceive our children and ourselves as helpless. The ideal is the one that comes to save us. And whatever is challenging us is the perpetrator.
exactly. So, in doing things easy, like we are in the US now, it's literally designed to make everything easy
Mm-hmm.
and comfortable. I think that's even a stronger word.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make it comfortable? So you have a huge kitchen, but you don't cook. Why? Because it's easier to buy food outside.
Mm-hmm.
And so much of this culture is around how do you make it more comfortable, how your car is more comfortable, how your sofa is more comfortable, how everything becomes more comfortable. But the thing is that as much as you make things only comfortable, you do not build an internal authority. So you need someone outside that will protect you, right? Then we project it on our leaders, and we want our leader to be our father. That's part of the reason why we want our leaders to be perfect, which they cannot, because they are human and they have their shadows,
And
and
it's not their role.
it's not their role, and they need rite of passage exactly as we do. The invitation, we believe that our culture is meeting, is to move to adulthood as a society, as a culture.
Maybe you can share with us some of the ways that we can use this ancient technology today for ourselves, for our children, for the people we love.
Why not? Why not? A good way to start exploring all of this is to ask yourself 5 questions. The first one is, who are you today? What are you identifying yourself with? So if you will start your a sentence saying I am, what would you write under it? I am this, I am that, the good things and the bad things. Okay? So I'm an angry person, for example, or I am an avoidant person, or I am a generous person, whatever is that you are identifying yourself to be you.
I think it's like just a beautiful invitation in general to reflect on who are we? Who do we think we are?
Yes,
Like, when was the last time I stopped to write down the list of who I think I am?
that's a beautiful invitation for you as well, then.
And I think it's just as powerful to write down who we think we're not.
Yes, which is also who I am.
By defining what we are not, we're also acknowledging where our thresholds are and where rites of passage opportunities may lie.
Okay, beautiful. So the first question we invite you to do, if you are curious about rite of passage and changing identity and growing from a child to an adult, first of all, take few moments or an hour. Maybe you want to do it in the nature and ask yourself, who are you? Or who am I? And write it down. As Omer so beautifully said, the good things, the bad things, and everything in between. This will reflect back to you your identity at the moment. The next question is, who would you like to become? Who would you like to become? So maybe I'll give an example here.
Please.
Let's say that you have issues with your children. You can write down, who are you as a father today, or a mother, whatever. And then you can ask yourself, what kind of a parent I want to become. So you can narrow this exercise not to your whole identity, but an identity in specific areas of your life, like parenting, for example. So, who I am as a parent today, what kind of a parent would I like to become? The third question is, what lies between who I am now and who I want to become? Which shame, guilt, and fears are my shell that are keeping me who I am and not allowing me to become what I want to be? The next question is, so what does need to die? And the last question is, what wants to be born and to emerge?
Beautiful. And from this, you can begin designing the rite of passage that will usher in these new qualities, this new way that you want to show up. So you can begin to decide, how will you prepare? What agreements will you need to make with those around you so that they can meet you on the other end? What do you need to separate yourself from in order to be free to become something new? And what kind of experience will take you into the depths of your limitations and into the depths of the mystery and the unknown so that something new can emerge?
Beautiful. Or you can reach out to us and we will help you to design the whole thing.
We will be so happy to do this. It is actually one of our favorite things to do. Yeah, we hold a number of containers, and I think it's really important to say that what is a rite of passage for one person is not necessarily one for another.
Yes, what you are actually saying, that designing a rite of passage that will be effective, you need to know the person you're working with. So you need to know yourself.
Yes. And for someone who has never attended a ceremony, who has never had a consciousness altering experience, just attending a ceremony will already be a rite of passage in itself.
Absolutely.
A lot of people share with us that they have social anxiety, and it gets increasingly more difficult for them to be in intimate spaces, especially with people they don't know well. So for this person, coming to a group ceremony would be a rite of passage. Some people are attending ceremonies regularly, so being in these spaces in itself isn't necessarily a rite of passage. It may just be part of their devotional journey, the way they live life to continue meeting themselves. Some people have no problem coming to a ceremony and leaving, and then coming to another one and leaving. Some people have difficulty committing to something long term. It's very easy for them to pop in and out of experiences, in and out of groups, but to stay in a single container for, say, 9 months, then our adulthood pilgrimage may be a rite of passage for them.
Yes, because it's very difficult for them. It's not because of the adulthood. The adulthood is already the solution. But it's we have a client like this, right? We have few of them. Every time we meet them, every time they decide to come, they have a request to us and to themselves. They would say, I need to do it more. I always forget. After I'm coming out of here, few days I'm holding the frequency, and then I dive back into my old habits, and it's very difficult for me to hold the habit of eating well, sleeping well, taking care of myself, and all of those things. So those kind of people that find it difficult to stay committed to themselves, to their own process, adulthood is our solution for them.
Yeah. It's not just a solution, it becomes a rite of passage because it's so far outside of their comfort zone.
And that's why we call it a pilgrimage.
Yes. And then we hold heroes' journeys. And this was designed
For a particular type of people.
The hero's journey is a roughly 24-hour experience, extremely high dose, going deep, deep into the subconscious, deep into the liminal feminine space of the mystery of the unknown. And this is a different sort of rite of passage.
I just want to say this one is not for everyone, seriously. This is for people that know this work, that they are super stable in their life, that their psychological structure is solid, that like high intensity experience because it's intense and we touch the deepest fears and shames and guilts and hold the client through it.
We design the beginning, middle, and end around the client, around their specific personality and needs, so that they can move through the entire process, complete the process, and harvest the gifts and be held on the other side.
Yes, and it's also a bit longer than 24 hours because we have another 2 or 3 touch points after to make sure that the integration is going well.
Yeah, beautiful. We also offer private retreats in our gorgeous home on the edge of the earth in nowhere, Panama, far away from everything that is familiar to you, far from the matrix, far from the people you know, and deep in gorgeous, lush nature and in the temple. We tailor each of these retreats to the individual or often couple that's coming and whatever their intention is. For some people, they literally are coming for a spa retreat for their soul. And others are coming for an initiation, for a rite of passage. And we design usually a 5 to 10 day experience tailor-made for this individual or couple. And I think it's important to say that each of these experiences are deeply immersive.
And if you don't remember everything that we said, you are so welcome to visit our website, which is www.curioussouls.fun.
Not .com.
.fun. And if you found this interesting and you have a friend or a family member that you think could enjoy this listening, you're so welcome to share it with them.
Come play with us.
Come play with us.
I love you. You've been listening to
Lilit,
and Omer.
two curious souls.
We're not recording podcasts, we're creating sacred spaces for self-relational and spiritual exploration.
We offer private retreats tailor-made exactly for you.
We also hold ceremonies, intimate, private, or community.
All the way to our 9-month pilgrimage called adulthood. We utilize the intelligence of plants
To guide you to meet yourself
and each other
more truthfully
playfully.
and with a lot more wonder.
Check out our website,
CuriousSouls.fun.
not .com, .fun.